All right, guys. So apparently a couple nights ago, there was an insurrection that took place at the Capitol building that we're just learning about. And apparently this insurrection was caused and perpetrated by about 7 or so staffers from Steve Colbert's team, right? Stephen Colbert, the comedian, the washed up late night show host comedian. And I want you guys to take a look at Jesse Waters and his coverage of this ongoing situation, because again, it appears to me that, again, these guys, these left-wing staffers, committed what the Democrats have told us is an insurrection. Take a look.
Fox News alert breaking right now. Word of a major breach of security on Capitol Hill. At least 7 people who work for the comedian Stephen Colbert were arrested and jailed last night for breaching the Capitol building. Here's what we know right now. Capitol Police were called around 8:30 p.m. Thursday night for a disturbance at the Longworth House Office building. These individuals, who we've confirmed work for The Late Show, were seen roaming the building while it was closed to visitors. Capitol Police say they did not have congressional IDs and were not authorized to be walking around without an escort. They were booked, and they spent the night in jail. Congressional sources tell us they were filming a skit on the January 6th hearings and were banging on the doors of offices, people like Congressman Kevin McCarthy, Jim Jordan, Republicans, you know the deal. One of the individuals, Robert Smigel, was pictured when he was in the Capitol yesterday. Smigel's a comedian who's appeared on the Colbert Show several times, as you can see here. The name of the others who were on Capitol Hill from the show are Jake Plunkett, Allison Martinez, Tyrone Dean, Stephen Romand, Nicoletta Green, Brendan Hurley, Josh Comers, and David Feldman. I want to point out these were not low-level people working for Colbert. We can confirm that Jake Plunkett is a senior producer and director at the show. Josh Comers is a writer. Allison Martinez is an associate producer. Who let them into the Capitol without authorization? Well, according to a congressional source, it was the Democrats, Congressman Adam Schiff and Jake Auchincloss. Congressman Rodney Davis sits on the Committee of House Administration and oversees Capitol Police. So, Congressman, is there an official investigation of this taking place right now?
Well, this is so new, Jesse. We just found out about the arrest today, and I'm going to make sure that when we get back to Washington next week, we're going to ask the questions that need to be asked. We'll ask the security officials why these arrests had to be made. What were they doing without an escort at a time when, the January 6th Select Committee on the 50th anniversary of Watergate made it look like my colleague Barry Loudermilk somehow took kids with gift bags to do reconnaissance missions. And let me put it to you this way too, Jesse. The only people arrested by Capitol Police for touring the House office buildings are the people who work for Stephen Colbert.
Yeah, it's ironic, isn't it? And we've reached out to the Capitol Police, and they've confirmed this with us. They said it's an ongoing criminal investigation, and U.S. attorneys are involved. They are charged with unlawful entry, which, if I'm not mistaken, that is the exact same charge as many of the January 6th protesters were charged with. Is that right?
Yeah, it certainly seems to be, Jesse.
Yeah, so you guys just heard there that Stephen Colbert's staffers were arrested in jail for illegally breaching the Capitol building. And they were let in by the Democrats, namely Adam Schiff, okay, who is one of the main Democrats that is a January 6th crusader, okay? He's one of the main Democrats that was pushing the Russia collusion hoax, okay? This guy has a very severe case of Trump derangement syndrome, right? But for whatever reason, this guy thought it was okay to let in Stephen Colbert's staffers to the Capitol building after hours, under no supervision, and have them try to make some type of skit or comedy special around the January 6th hearings, right? After they were already told that, hey, you can't be here, right? You're not supposed to be here. They came back anyways. Adam Schiff let them in. Apparently, these people were in the Capitol building making so much noise that somebody called the police on them because they were making a disturbance. They was banging on people's doors, and that's how they got caught. Okay? Now, the irony here, guys, is that this is what happens when January 6th is not actually really about what happened on January 6th. It's not really about the so-called insurrection. It's really about making it a show, a Hollywood spectacle. Okay? That's what it's about, because you let these staffers in after hours under no supervision to allegedly film a comedy skit, right? Basically try to make more of a show out of what's going on with January 6th, right? Now, keep in mind, the January 6th hearings in and of themselves is already a show, right? They got Hollywood producers involved with this, okay? They got mainstream liberal media involved with this. Everybody's involved with trying to make this some type of Hollywood spectacle with the goal of trying to make the Republican Party and Trump supporters look as bad as possible. Okay, nothing's actually really going to come out of it, right? They're not actually really going to, do anything to Trump or anything like that. Nothing's going to come out of this. It is purely a show. And when you try to take the show too far, this is what happened. Again, the irony here is that the Democrats made a show out of what they call an insurrection just to go so far with it that they ended up committing an act of insurrection themselves, because that's what they told us this was, right? When you illegally breach the Capitol building, right? Doesn't matter if you're actually there with the intent to cause harm or to do violence or anything like that. You are an insurrectionist. And the reason why we know that is because there are people that during January 6th just waltzed into the Capitol, okay, literally went sightseeing, right? They weren't there destroying any property, doing anything super crazy or being violent, anything like that. They were just basically doing a tour of the Capitol, right? Because the doors were open, right? They just walked in. They got charged. Some of those people got jailed. Some of those people aren't getting due process. You can argue that some of these people and their rights, right, have been taken away, okay? Lo and behold, Democrats doing their January 6th show, right, their witch hunt spectacle, they get caught doing the exact same thing. Now, I wonder, are we going to have another Hollywood production based off this insurrection, right? Are we going to have another Hollywood production based off that? Where we spend millions of taxpayer dollars producing this, going on a witch hunt, figuring out who gave the orders, right? Did Stephen Colbert get the orders? Did Adam Schiff get the orders? Right? Who gave the orders for this? Who provoked this? Right? Should Stephen Colbert be fired? Because I think he probably should. If we are using the same logic that we use with Trump incited these people to go inside of the Capitol. So did Stephen Colbert incite these people to go inside the Capitol? Or did Adam Schiff do that? Should he be put on trial? Right? Should we try to impeach him? Should he be removed for this? Because this is the exact same thing, but probably even worse. Because at least on January 6th, there were no Republican elected officials that let any of the protesters inside of the Capitol. We have Democrat elected officials letting people inside of the Capitol, okay? But I don't really see the difference, right? I don't really see the difference based off how you treated people that just waltzed into the Capitol that didn't commit any act of violence, right? Now, it's a little bit different. For those who committed an act of violence, obviously, it's different. But for those people who didn't, who was just there, yeah, I wonder if we're going to have a committee to figure out why those people were there and who told them that this was okay. But who knows what they were actually really there for. There's probably a whole lot of sensitive information inside of that Capitol building, right? Who knows? These people could have probably tried to break into one of these Congress members' offices, right? To try to find something, to try to steal something. Who knows? And the fact that they weren't supervised by the Democrats that let them in makes it even worse. They should be held accountable for it. Make a show out of them the same way they're making a show out of the Republicans. That would be fair. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.